Hey guys, in this video, we gonna talk about one of the most frustrating errors that you could see when installing Windows, and that is the Windows can't be installed on this drive error. I am gonna show you the most common reasons why this happens and how you can fix them all, so stay tuned. Alright, so let us first take a look at some of the different error variations, because there are a few different types of these errors and each one indicates a different problem. So the most common version of this error is simply going to be Windows can't be installed on this disk. This is basically an installer error that just means that it cannot install Windows on the disk that you have selected. Then the next version of this error that you might run into while installing Windows is going to be Windows can't be installed to this disk. The selected disk is of the GPT partition style. Basically, the two main partition styles used today for hard drives are either MBR or Master Boot Record or GPT or GID partition table. So basically, if you're seeing this error, what has happened is you have either tried to install Windows on a disk that uses a GPT partition table format, or the disk that you're retrying to install Windows onto is currently formatted as GPT. But keep in mind that you will not be able to install Windows on a GPT disk using legacy boot mode in BIOS, so this solution applies to both situations. The next version of this error that you might run into is going to be Windows can't be installed to this disk. The disk may fail soon, so this basically indicates that your hard drive might be failing and you might need to replace it. We're going to go ahead and talk about this error in just a bit here. And then the last variation of this error that you might run into is going to be setup was unable to use the existing partition. Well, this one is pretty self-explanatory. Essentially, the Windows setup program cannot use the partition that is already on the disk that you're retrying to install Windows onto. And this usually happens when you have an old Windows installation on the drive that is preventing Windows setup from being able to access the drive. So basically, this means that you will have to delete any existing partitions on the drive, and then start over from scratch by creating a new partition and then formatting that partition and then finally installing Windows onto it. So let's go ahead and jump right into the solutions. So the first solution applies to those of you who are running into either one of these errors. Windows can't be installed on this disk, or Windows can't be installed to this disk. The selected disk is of the GPT partition style. In order to fix this error, you're going to have to convert your current disk partition style to the opposite one. So essentially, if you're trying to install Windows on a GPT disk, you will have to convert it to MBR, or if you're retrying to install Windows on an MBR disk, you will have to convert it to GPT. Fortunately, Windows makes this super easy to do, so you should be able to do this easily inside the Windows setup program itself. However, if you're watching this tutorial because you are actually trying to install Windows on a virtual machine, then, unfortunately, the Windows setup program does not allow you to convert between MBR and GPT. So in that case, you will have to use a third-party tool such as a disk management software. So let me show you how you can do this inside Windows setup. Inside the Windows setup program, press Shift plus F10 to bring up command prompt. Then type DiskPart and hit enter. Then type list disk and hit enter. Now this will show you the disks that are available on your system. So assuming that your hard drive is listed as disk 1, then type select disk 1 and hit enter. Then type clean and hit enter. Then type convert MBR and hit enter, or convert GPT depending on whether you want to convert to MBR or GPT. Then type exit and close the command prompt window, and you should now see that the install screen has refreshed and the disk is now ready to be installed on. The next solution applies to those of you who are running into this error. Windows can't be installed to this disk. The disk may fail soon, so if you see this error, it's possible that your hard drive might actually be failing. There are various different signs that your hard drive might be failing, such as the drive making unusual noises, drive performance slowing down, or the drive randomly disconnecting. And fortunately, there are some free tools out there that you can use to check your drive health. So here's what I recommend you do. Try to boot into your BIOS and look for your hard drive smart status. If your BIOS doesn't have this setting, then you can also download a hardware monitoring tool like Crystal Disk Info from another computer, plug your hard drive into that computer, and then check your hard drive's smart data. And the smart data contains valuable information that can help you determine whether your hard drive is failing or not. So if it turns out that your hard drive is failing, then your best bet would probably be to just replace the drive. The next solution applies to those of you who are running into the following error. Setup was unable to use the existing partition. In order to fix this error, you're going to have to delete any existing partitions on the drive and then recreate them manually. To do this inside Windows Setup, click on the drive that you want to install Windows onto, then click Delete and make sure to delete all the partitions on the drive. Once you have done this, you should now see that all the space on the disk is now unallocated. Then click New, Apply, and then proceed with the Windows installation and let Windows Setup create the necessary partitions for you. Now, before we wrap up, I want to quickly point out that there is one other thing that you can try doing to fix the Windows client be installed on this disk. Error, and that is checking your BIOS to ensure that your secure boot or legacy boot options match your drive format. Essentially, if you're trying to install Windows using legacy boot, but your hard drive is formatted as GPT, then that could potentially be causing this error. So you want to ensure that they are both the same. So if you're using legacy boot, then ensure that your hard drive is also MBR, and if you're using UEFI boot, then ensure that your hard drive is GPT. But hopefully now you should be able to successfully install Windows 10. Alright, and that's it. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more tech videos just like this one. And if you'd like to support us further, then you can go ahead and check out our support page. Alright, that's it for me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.